Hey guys, welcome back to the Sanctuary. So as collectors, we sometimes have to make difficult choices, and often it's related to space. I was out of space this year. I had some large pieces coming, like Swamp Thing here, Nightmare Batman, and some others. And so I decided to sell my X-Men line. I had about 5 X-Men on this shelf, and I sold them all. Now I knew Psylocke was coming. I hadn't pre-ordered it. I was trying to resist. And then I saw her in San Diego and thought, my gosh, she looks really, really good. Sculpted by Will Harbottle, one of my favorite sculptors. And so I continued to resist. And then yesterday, she was suddenly in stock at Sideshow. And I couldn't help myself, and I hit that button, and she arrived today. So let's take a look. Okay, let's go straight for the portrait, because I think they did a great job of matching the prototype. It's really a gorgeous portrait. Nice full lips, purple eyes. Her hair is black but has pretty heavy purple highlights. Really unique pose. We don't really get this crouching pose very often, if at all. I think that's one of the best parts of this statue, is that it doesn't look like other statues. Then you got this lantern that she's standing on with a light up feature. I like that it's flashing. I think that brings a little bit of life to the statue. You got these shurikens stuck in the lantern that were thrown at her and missed their target. And then this really cool base with this fog kind of sweeping over the base. You got these plants that are pretty fragile, so be careful removing the base from the styrofoam insert. Those could break off pretty easily. And then this forced perspective temple and moon. Now I think the hobby is pretty evenly split on forced perspective bases. You either love them or you hate them. I think this piece does it better than a lot of the others that I've seen. I really like it on this one. And it's removable if you don't like it. This entire piece comes right off, and then you're just displaying this part of the base with the lantern with her on it. But I think that the temple and the moon adds quite a bit. All right, there is one issue I want to discuss about this piece, and that is the skin tone. And there's some talk about it on Facebook and on Statue Forum. If you look at the production pieces on the Sideshow site, her skin tone from head to toe is kind of like a bronzed, well-tanned look, which looks kind of healthy. Whereas the statue itself is kind of an ashen look to her shoulder here and to her legs, which is different. It's not the same as what you see in those production pics. Now, they describe it as a paint scheme to match the theme of the statue. So I believe what they're saying is this is a scenario that takes place at night. So she's being illuminated by the moon. And so her skin tone is what you would see if you saw her at night. So you either buy into that idea or not. I have a few problems with it. I mean, clearly I'm displaying her in a brightly lit room, and I'm displaying her with other pieces that don't have that kind of paint scheme. So she might look a little bit out of place among my other pieces, especially if I was displaying her in an X-Men line, like a lot of collectors will. She'll be in a nighttime setting while everybody else will not. So you just have to kind of either accept that or not. It's a little bit different than what I was expecting from the production pics on the Sideshow site. The other thing that's a little bit concerning is that the paint on her face is a little bit different. There's a little bit more rose in her cheeks, which I like. I think it's a healthier look. So if you look at her shoulder compared to her portrait, the paint is different. And we kind of saw that a little bit with Power Girl. There's more of kind of like a peachy look to her portrait skin than the rest of her body. and then we see it again here. So that's also something that you either accept or you don't. It doesn't bother me terribly, but I do wish that her skin tone for her entire body matched the portrait. I just think it looks healthier and better. That really is my only knock on the statue. For the most part, mine came in pretty good shape. I do think I might have a little bit of a breakage here. So I need to look in the box to see if there's a piece broken off, but something doesn't look right there. And then also the switch out arm with the Psylocke blade it wasn't broken, it was separated. This is a glue point at the factory, and it had separated. So I just used a little Gorilla Glue to fix that. Now it's perfectly fine. You couldn't even tell that something happened there. You turn her a bit. One thing I really love about this statue is this profile. I love that. I just think it looks fantastic. That little strand of hair going across her face. It just looks really, really cool. She looks really good on a mechanized turntable. I've had her on one for about the last half an hour while I was getting ready for the video. And she looks great on one of those. All right, let's put that Psylocke blade switch out arm on and see how she looks. Okay, so this really does give a different look. It's pretty cool. And if you look on the inside, you can see her fist, the same color as the Psylocke blade. I think that's kind of cool. I think maybe I prefer the other option just because her reaching for the katana provides some movement to the statue. This one, she's just kind of chilling with her Psylocke blade ready for action. But it's kind of a static pose, whereas, and I'll show it to you again when I put it back on, but the other option, she's actually reaching for that katana, so something's about to happen. But it's well sculpted. It looks really cool. It's a good option. It's not an exclusive. There is no exclusive to this piece. Everybody gets the same. Just love that portrait. A lot of black accents on the red sash, which surprised me. The red sash comes right out of the box connected to the body. This was not the case with their previous Psylocke, where it was a piece that you would assemble onto the body. It's all connected. It's really a striking statue. Despite the concerns I have about skin tone, I'm very happy with it. I think it's really, really beautiful. So if you don't like forced perspective bases, you've got this option. You can remove that portion of the base and just have her crouching down on top of the lantern, on top of that foggy base. And you know what? It still looks great. It's a really good option. It doesn't really save you space because she's still got this sash and the depth that the katana creates. But it looks really good. It doesn't look incomplete. It's just a different look. I like it both ways. I'm going to use the forced perspective base because I do think it adds to the atmosphere of the piece. But heck, if you don't like forced perspective bases, you can still own this statue and be very happy with it. I think the art box for this piece is one of Sideshow's better ones. Really nice images of the portrait, really cool color palette with pinks and reds and blues and purples. Just Psylocke on the side. This almost has like a Gal Gadot look to it. It just looks really cool. Psylocke on the side, Psylocke on the top. And then I received number 1174. This has an edition size of 2000, which is a nice healthy edition size. Some of the Sideshow's more recent pieces have had much lower edition sizes. I think Joker and Harley were 500 and 600. So 2000, this one will be around for a little while. You won't have trouble getting it, I think, but it will sell out eventually. But it's nice to see Sideshow have success with such a nice piece. Overall, I think it's a great statue. I do have that quibble about the skin tone. I do wish that it was consistent between her portrait and her body. And I do wish that it had that kind of, like I said, bronzed, well-tanned look that we see in the production photos on Sideshow's site. Instead, we have this kind of ashen look, which I know is intentional. It's supposed to represent this nighttime scene, and this is how she would look in the dark. But it doesn't look like as healthy as what we see in those production photos. And the face should match the body. The skin tone should match, and it's a little different. But the sculpt is fantastic. The portrait is beautiful. All the things I would expect from Harbottle, he always comes through. Thank you, Will Harbottle. So it's a small quibble, but something I wanted you guys to be aware of. As for me, I got Comic-Con coming up in San Diego in 3 or 4 weeks. It's going to be a little different this year. No Sideshow, no Tweeterhead, no Weta. But PCS will still be there, and I know they've got some good stuff to show. Hopefully they bring RoboCop again. I saw those at Monsterpalooza, but I want to see them again under better lighting in San Diego. Queen Studios will be displaying a few pieces, and John from Queen Studios, I understand, is going to be there, so it'll be fun to meet John finally. And I'm hoping Iron Studios comes back. They had a very large, impressive booth last year. I'm hoping they do that again this year. Other than that, you can find me on Facebook in the Secret Sanctuary Facebook group. If you haven't joined, please do. You can find me on Statue Forum and at a convention near you. If you haven't subscribed, please do, because why the heck haven't you subscribed? And have a great weekend, guys. Take care.